my background's audiovisual culture, VJing, and sort of non-narrative filmmaking. So it's sort of like, but it's also like immersive architecture is another phrase we use. Or so, but it's in the past I've made installations around, with the theme of consumption and climate change, and that was in 2007. I started this project called Small Global, and at the time it was about climate denial, and it was also. And in my head, I felt it was about giving facts. And if you give facts, people will then understand. But we're in a post-Trump era, and really that doesn't matter anymore. You know, it's like people have their own opinions regardless. So, and I think, you know, as time went on, I did feel quite, I feel that it's slightly ahead of everybody else in terms of the sort of eco-anxiety and a few things. But I know I did a climate lab with Metal a few years ago, and I think it was just before Extinction Rebellion, and that for me was a euphoria moment. But just before that, you know, we all sat around doom and gloom. It's a great lab, but it was like, you know, what can we do? How can we affect this? How can we change things? And I think, you know, there was a lot of books I was reading, like Uninhabitable Earth, Peter Wallace Wells and stuff, and then Extinction Rebellion happened, and then I read this book called Humankind by Rutger Bregman, and it was really looking about the positive side of people and how we're all connected and how deep down we're all good, not bad as the whole sort of capitalist system sort of tells us. And I think the other thing as well is the framing of climate change for me is like, it's very, you know, we're told this narrative about buying an electric car and consuming things. And I feel in a way, it's like we're trying to buy our way out of a situation, and we're just putting everything on credit, you know, like we're carbon credits, they'll all come later. You know, you can offset your flying, you can do all sorts of things. And it's a simple maths thing. Basically, we're emitting more gases than ever, and we're consuming more than ever. And really the only way to curb that is to stop consuming. And you know, most of the stuff you have is thrown away within 9 months anyway. So I wanted to make this story, and in a way, through the British Council, which is great, we sort of connected with all these people in Brazil and Indonesia and Lebanon and Vietnam, and we sort of got people to tell their own stories about everyday life. And I think that's the compelling part of it. It's like, it's not us telling you what's going on, it's individuals telling you what's going on, and then that's slightly underlined by statements from climate scientists just telling you how it is.
The next sort of section of the event is to introduce Niloo and Mai, and they're going to discuss their experiences of creating the project.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having us.
Hi, Niloo.
Hi, how's it going?
Yes, fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've got a few questions to ask you. Yeah, I was just interested to know what your experience was of filming all the participants.
So during the filming period, my city was in a strict lockdown, so I wasn't able to go outside to film all the participants. They had to do the filming themselves, and I tracked their progress online. Although it was quite challenging at first, we had a great time working together. And individually, I work in 2 roles as an artist and a participant at the same time. So this left me with many interesting experience. Firstly, because I had to film myself, I couldn't control the frame of the camera movement, and this was quite difficult sometimes. But in return, I had chance to explore the environment around me better. I also had the opportunity to take a deep look in my daily consumption, as the filming brief required us to focus on specific topics like food, work, water, transport, and waste.
How did you select your participants?
Well, I try to choose my participants from different cities in Vietnam, as I believe the local culture and lifestyle are quite different from one city to another, and this may affect the daily consumption in different places.
It was super interesting. I think the most interesting part for me was seeing Tracy spend so much time litter picking every day. and realizing that there must be people who do that everywhere, but that you don't really know about or notice, and that the rest of us are kind of relying on them. And when, you know, anytime you like drop something on the floor and then don't pick it up, there's someone who has to do that. And I think a lot of people take that stuff for granted, that things don't just disappear. I think it was frustrating to see how much how hopeless everyone feels about it when they think about the power structures that are in place, and it's just like people trying to contend with the despair of it, and people are like each have their own level of activeness and botheredness that they arrive at, because I think that despair of, well, what's my contribution even going to do? I think that is what makes the difference between people's lives so much. The ones who tend to do more, they still feel hopeless, but they have some type of belief about their own power as individuals, whereas other people feel more powerless in their own lives and more like not in charge of their own choices, because they feel like they have to do certain things to survive. And then that seems to be where people's choices vary.